The seismic record from Palisades, New York, as published in the FEMA report, indicates massive peak signals of short duration, typical of high-velocity military weapons-grade explosives, that registered 2.1 and 2.3 on the Richter scale. These are 15 times larger than the plane impacts and huge fireball explosions. Collapsing debris can be seen forming a tail signal, similar in scale to the impacts, following the explosive peaks that run off the bottom of the chart for the North Tower. Evidence for controlled demolition is confirmed by a 3D seismic fingerprint. The computer demolition program produces similar timing in the seismic signals, as we can see by overlaying the data from the North and South Towers. The seismic data form a close match even though the collapses were very different, indicating that the peak signals represent the destruction of the 47 steel box column internal support framework at the bedrock foundation. The peak signals occur at the beginning of the collapse for both the North and South Towers, before debris has hit the ground, confirming that high-speed explosive events were responsible. As Chopper 4 moves away from the North Tower, its white belly becomes visible from another camera angle near the church on the other side of the building. Is this a genuine New York Police Department air-sea rescue chopper that simply decided not to rescue anyone? Or is it participating in the tripod emergency war game exercise FEMA started running September 10th at the World Trade Center from the Port Authority Command and Control Headquarters at Pier 92, and being ordered not to rescue any potential eyewitnesses to the top-secret exercise?
Oh my God, the building fell! Are you there? The building just fell!
Which?
Oh my God, the South building just crumbled from the top!
As the South Tower begins to fall, we can see a dark smoke collapse zone at the top and the corner structure intact. A light-colored dust detonation zone quickly progresses down the side of the tower while the corner structure remains intact. Within 3 seconds, the detonation zone has become roughly 30 stories tall, with the dark smoke collapse zone far above. Upon returning to the World Trade Center for the first time since 9/11, Rick went in search of the cause of the tower's collapse. According to the official story, office furniture like this was ignited by jet fuel and weakened the thick steel framework. Does this seem reasonable to you?
Honestly, I never thought the towers would collapse. It just never occurred to me. It had stood there since 1970 when we opened, and it just didn't seem possible.
The towers were made up of heavy steel that had been designed for superior strength.
High-strength steel that had not been available before made this possible.
Building cranes were positioned on the internal steel framework made up of 47 heavy steel supports, indicating just how sturdy this internal structure was. However, the official theory explaining the collapse of the towers claims that an ordinary office furniture fire could actually be responsible for weakening heavy steel to the point of collapse. Imagine all the chefs who cook over a hot blue flame without melting their frying pans. The idea that a much weaker office furniture fire could cause any harm to these steel frame towers is pure fantasy, and therefore required a suitable dramatization to fool the public. A respected science show, Nova, faced the challenge of convincing the public that the impossible was actually the only possible explanation. To do this, it was first necessary to describe the steel supports in the towers as thinner and weaker than they actually were.
But the tall vertical columns of the inner core and the outer walls were like freestanding stilts until Robertson tied them together with floor trusses.
The next step was to create a pancake collapse simulation. Since this is impossible using the laws of science, it was first necessary to remove the outer wall supports that carry 40% of the tower's weight. Since office fires would have negligible effect on the steel structure, it was also necessary to remove all floor connections with the internal support structure. Finally, the simulation would run. But will 110 floors really collapse like pancakes in 10 seconds? Let's time it to find out. The first floor to collapse took 1.5 seconds to fall 12 feet. The second floor was faster at 1 second for a total of 2.5 seconds. As the gravity collapse starts to speed up, ignoring the hundreds of internal and external welded connections supporting each floor, we see 10 floors have collapsed after 6 seconds. This clearly indicates that the official pancake collapse theory cannot begin to explain how the buildings fell in just 10 seconds, and is so unreasonable that it should be immediately rejected out of common sense. Yet it has become the conventional wisdom of the day, and we must all pause and ask ourselves how this could have come about. Now let's return to Rick's original footage. Next, we feature the collapse of the North Tower World Trade Center 1. Police evacuated Hoboken Pier to make room for the survivors.
And I went down to the next pier to do the next building because the Frank Sinatra Pier was open, and so it's 3 more blocks down. Didn't make a difference, and I'm not going to sit here and argue because I know it's just happened, and I was hoping there's supposed to be survivors, and it was great that they would be coming here to get fixed, and
Not really sure what's in the debris, what's in the smoke. In that crowd running, I ran into a woman who, as I said before, was in Tower 2. She escaped, and she is here. It happened?
Yes, I was in the building.
What was that? You were in the building?
I was on the 92nd floor at number 2. And I didn't see the first plane crash, but I was on the lower floor when the second plane crashed into number 2. And my brother's a photojournalist, and he's down there now. I hope he's okay.
How did you get out?
I walked down 92 floors, and I stopped on the 70-something floor because they said everything was okay, and the second plane crashed.
Into the second building, right?
Yeah.
What happened? So it was the first tower was hit first?
Yeah.
So at this point, obviously, everyone's trying to locate their family and friends, as well as get themselves to safety. The area around here at City Hall is under lockdown. All the buildings are being evacuated. Everyone is being told to move north. Eileen LaPalmer, live for 1010 Wins outside of City Hall.
We haven't heard yet from Mayor Giuliani, but I understand that he does plan to address us at some point. Eileen?
Yes, we are trying to locate where the mayor is. Obviously, usually when there is crisis situations, he would be down at the Office of Emergency Management, which is down at the World Trade Center. We cannot find him right now. City Hall is also evacuated and locked down. Obviously, for security reasons, we will let you know as soon as we know when the mayor will speak with us.
Okay, as to how all this happened, it's becoming increasingly apparent that this was a terrorist attack. President Bush as much as said so about an hour ago, what with
Let's fast forward Rick's footage while we examine why so many helicopter flights merely passed by the towers without any attempted rescue. As reported in the Gotham Gazette in November 2000.
I'm free.